Well, joining us now is Newsmax contributor and former acting CBP Commissioner Mark Morgan and Pinal County, Arizona Sheriff Mark Lamb. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Good to see you both. Commissioner, I'm going to start with you. So as a former CBP Commissioner, Mayorkas lied essentially about this so-called Ministry of Truth. When it actually started, there's some other things in there that we could talk about, but I want to focus on that. So if he lied about that, who's to say that he isn't telling the truth about the fact that it's maybe over?
Yeah, Lindsay, look, should we be surprised? No, I'm not. Look, this secretary, this is just another example of a long list of lies, blatant, intentional, knowing lies that he said not only to the American people, but to congressional members under oath. Remember, wasn't that long ago? Remember Del Rio, when there were 20,000 Haitians that were going back and forth illegally from Mexico to the United States, setting up a third world camp in the United States? And Secretary Mayorkas, at that time, you can see a split screen of the migrants coming over, and he was telling American people that the borders were closed. And recently, during a congressional testimony, Representative Chip Roy read to him the statutory definition of operational control, which in part says the ability to prevent and stop all unlawful entries. And the secretary raised his chin in that indignant manner, and he says, yes, we have operational control. Another blatant lie. And we could fill the rest of the show with his intentional lies, and it's exactly why many congressional members are calling for his impeachment right now.
So, Sheriff, when you see the priorities of this Department of Homeland Security, and we have a real crisis happening at our southern border, I mean, is that demoralizing to you and your colleagues to know that they're focused on these disinformation governance boards?
Yeah, it is. I mean, look, we're not going to raise the white flag either. And Mark's right. These people have been lying all the way along. They believe like George Costanza from Seinfeld. Jerry, if you believe it, it's not a lie. I'm not even sure that they actually believe what they're saying, but they are certainly trying to lie to the American people every day, day in and day out, whether it's inflation, gas prices, and they are certainly lying about the border and the issues that we're dealing with on a daily basis. We're doing the best to keep the morale up in our own forces. I know CBP, Border Patrol is doing the best they can. Mayorkas and those folks are definitely not helping us.
So, Commissioner, I want to get your thoughts on the Summit of Americas, which happened in Los Angeles this week. We had our president there and vice president. And today, Joe Biden unveiled the Los Angeles Declaration of Migration, which is a plan for regional partnership to address the massive migration flow. But, of course, as you know, the president of Mexico wasn't there. A few other presidents didn't show up. I mean, how effective can it be when you don't have these key players at the table?
Well, it's not. And first of all, Lindsay, it's a non-binding agreement. That's political, swamp speak to say it's meaningless. And they're actually talking about taking the migrants to Spain and Canada. What is that going to do? That's going to do nothing except continue to incentivize more illegal immigration. As you said, Mexico, the Northern Triangle countries, which are the central choke points to stop illegal immigration before it gets to the United States, was not even there and not even addressed. And here's another thing that's frustrating. They're talking about this regional Western Hemisphere approach. That, again, that's a lie. That's exactly part of the strategy of the Trump administration. And that's what led to the unprecedented asylum cooperative agreements with all three Northern Triangle countries and the unprecedented cooperation with Mexico to support the Remain in Mexico program. They strengthened their southern border as well as interior enforcement. On day one, this administration tore up those agreements and they chucked away the leveraging goodwill that we established with the government of Mexico.
Unbelievable. Really sad to see, actually. So, Sheriff, our border czar, Kamala Harris, she spoke at this event as well. And it sounded like she encouraged more migration. Listen.
Economic inequality in our hemisphere is among the worst in the world. This scenario is then our vision for millions of people as part of our strategy to address the root causes of migration from Central America.
I mean, what kind of messages does this send not only to people that are listening on, migrants, but to cartels and human and drug traffickers?
I don't know, because I just listened to it. I couldn't even understand what she was trying to say. But what it is, they consistently share messages that are are encouraging these people to show up at our border, and the cartel is all too willing to take advantage of these people. They're charging these people. They're raping the women, abusing the children, and using them as pawns, extorting the men, forcing them to carry dangerous drugs like methamphetamine and fentanyl into this country. And one more thing, the fact that those other leaders didn't show up shows the lack of respect they have for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Do you think they would have ever have done that to Donald Trump? No way, no how.
Yeah, and this administration says, oh, it's not our policies yet. A lot of them have Biden T-shirts on. They're like, yeah, thank you, Biden. Lastly, Mark, I want to turn to an interesting opinion piece that was in The Hill this week, which argues that Title 42 is eventually going to be terminated and things are going to get so out of control that even using the National Guard won't be enough to slow the surge. George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump all effectively developed the National Guard during these during different migration surges. When Title 42 is lifted, we're expecting, they say, 18,000 plus migrants a day. Can the National Guard help at this point? I mean, it seems like we're trying to put a Band-Aid on, a gaping wound, a gaping hole.
Yeah, Lindsay, look, that's a great way to describe it. Here's why. Because the policies under this current administration apply no consequences to illegal behavior. So it doesn't matter. You can throw all the money you want to, you can throw all the resources you want at it. It's not going to stop the flow of illegal immigration because they know that they're going to be released in the United States and remain here and never be lawfully deported. So it doesn't matter how many resources you throw at it. It requires policy change, a 180-degree policy change. And I want to footstep on something that Sheriff Lamb said. This is very, very important because illegal immigration is not a victimless crime. As illegal immigration goes up to the unprecedented levels we have right now, our ability to secure our border goes down. Border Patrol resources are pulled off the line. We've literally handed over operational control of large areas of border to the cartel. Drugs are pouring in, criminal aliens are pouring in, and there's an increased threat to our national security vulnerability. This is a real issue, and Americans are dying every single day because of this administration's open border policies.
Sheriff, you're down there every day. You're seeing it. Your men are seeing it. I mean, how much longer can America sustain these numbers?
Lindsay, we passed that point a long time ago, probably well over a year ago. We are in the critical, like the engine's not running anymore. And what we're letting in is going to have catastrophic effects on America between the fentanyl and between the amount of people that we have no idea who they are. You cannot be naive enough to believe that all these people want to come to America because they love America. A lot of these people have bad intentions. They were criminals in their own country. They're not good. They're not going to make good citizens or even good neighbors in this country. And so that alone is a struggle that we face every day, and it concerns us.
Yeah, well, it concerns me. It should concern every American out there. Mark Morgan, Sheriff Mark Lamb, appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you, Lindsay. God bless.